All right, we're going to start this section by creating a simple Bootstrap form. And then we're going to bring that to life and add some validation to it using Angular. So here, let's open up the terminal and generate a new component. So ng-gc, let's call this contact-form. Okay, now let's go to contact.html. Delete all the markup here. We want to add a form. We don't need this action attribute. Inside this form, we need two input fields. One is the first name and the other is comment. So once again, I'm going to use Zen coding to quickly generate markup. So first we need a label. Next to this, we want an input. I want the type of this input to be text. So note that you can use square brackets to put any attributes here. Now this input field should have a class called form-control. And this is one of the classes defined in Bootstrap that gives our input field a nice modern look and feel. So tab, this is our markup. Let's break it up. So with this input field, we can set an ID here. Let's call this first name. And note that I'm using camel notation. So the first letter of the first word is lowercase and the first letter of every word after is uppercase. Now, if we use this ID here as the value for the for attribute of the label, this improves the accessibility of our form. So when the user clicks on this label, this input field here will automatically get focus. Okay. Now, finally, we need to wrap these two elements inside a div with the class form-group. This is one of the requirements by Bootstrap. So we want a div with the class form-group. Now let's move this stuff here. Okay. Now this time I'm going to generate all this markup in one go. So we want to start with a div with the class form-group. Now inside this div, we want a label, and this label should have an attribute called for set to, let's say, comment. Now next to this label, we want an input with an ID attribute set to comment. Actually, let's change this to a text area so we can have multiple lines. Now this text area should also have a class called form-control. Tab. Okay, here's our markup. Here's our div. We have a label inside that. And next to that, we have a text area. We don't need this name attribute, so let's delete this. And here's the closing div element. Now finally, we need a button. This button should have two classes. One is btn and the other is btn-primary. And let's call this submit. Now one more thing is that each of these label elements need a value. So the first one should be first name and the second should be comment. Okay. Now finally, let's use this form on our homepage. First, let's go to contact.ts. I want to change the selector here. We don't really need this app-prefix. It's extra noise. Add it only if it's clashing with another component defined somewhere else, something that you're importing from a third-party library. So finally, let's go to app.html. Delete all the markup here and add our contact-form element. Now let's preview this. So back in the browser, this is our contact form. So first name, comment, and our submit button.